Tozama gogo nomkhulu saluka sendoda lesi ugogo bathini mbathe. Isishingishane somoya umavula kuvala emzini yamadoda. U-Auntie Usha, your number one locksmith, as I've said that I'll be coming to Ghana to cut yet another key. And here to Ghana, we're cutting a very important key because as much as we're focusing on other things like the issues of wealth, but we're also going to focus a lot on the issue of health. Because today we are talking about holistic approach in using moti. I've touched a bit on alcohol, substance abuse, and today we are going to talk about other things. It's not the part 2 or anything, but I want to just to give you the keys to open doors that maybe of things that you were not aware of because of we're just looking at wealth on one side to say, I want to be wealthy, I want to be successful, I want things to happen. However, we don't look at other elements in our lives that will make that to be possible for it to happen. Guys will forgive me, I don't normally do this like talking, drinking water or something. It's because it's very hot here. Health. Guys, the same body that is carrying the brain and the heart, the brain that thinks about what can I do to make money, and the heart that pumps and gives you that hope to say things will be fine. You know, that thing that we have inside, that we call it an inner voice. And that's why you will hear us saying to Ogoti, there's something inside me that tells me, Ogoti, this will work. This will really will work. And everything that we think about, we have that faith, Ogoti, whatever I'm doing is going to work. Nobody starts something and be negative on their own thing and say, this one's not going to work. No, we all start something with the hope, determined, this will work. But how many of us that really, really, really pays the attention that the bodies that we have, it's the only bodies that we have? How many of us think of that? The body that we have, it's the only body that we have. It's the only body that we are living in. The late biker friend of mine, Mr. G, used to say, he was a lifter, you know, and that to me, that was very profound to say, let me go and shape up the only body I'm living in. And that's true. It's the only thing you have. There's no other body. You can always get another car. You can always repair the car you have. You can always maintain to the best of your ability and everything. But one day that car is going to say goodbye. You can fix your car. You can be, you can be known. Everybody who had a car for a long time, they had this car that they used to love and take care of it. But they don't no longer have it, whether they sold it or it got to the point whereby it just given up. Have you ever been in that position? So do we have the same thinking when it comes to this body that we have? How many of us are thinking, Oguchi, for me to achieve my goals, for me to be productive at work, it matters what I eat. It matters what I drink. It matters in terms of exercising. It took me time to realize the importance of being healthy. Trust me, that's why I have an epic stomach. That's why I'm so obese. It's because it took me a very long time. I was very determined that body is a body. Again, let's use our sober minds in this content, guys, to understand where I'm going with this video. It took me time to realize. I got into to ShopRite today, and I passed the shelf of Simba chips, all those salty stuff, as if I've never been a regular on that aisle. I just went past and I didn't feel anything wrong. I went through and passed the chocolates as if I've never loved chocolate. I ate chocolate today, Ipa one. I carried one from South Africa because once in a while I love eating chocolate. But I'm no longer as obsessed. I could eat 4, 5 chocolates a day. Not anymore. I can eat one per week. Sometimes. I used to drink alcohol as if there's nobody's business. I used to be serious, not serious about taking care of my health. Extremely serious. I'm giving myself an example as an example. I used to eat like lalela, anything. You come with whatever, I will eat it. I will eat it. And you wouldn't tell me anything about fat-free milk and everything, about plain yogurts and everything, things that I eat. It took me time to realize, oh, it is not about taste. It's about the benefit of this body that I need to take. It took me time. How many of us have we ever sat down and planned or asked question to our healers to say, what nutrition is it required while I'm in this process, on this treatment? The only thing that we ask about it's alcohol and fish and pork. That's it. Oh, alcohol, sex, fish, pork. 4 things that we ask about. We've never asked about any other thing. The only things that are popular in asking the healer, that 9 out of 10 people will never forget to ask that. And the one that didn't ask, they know Oguti, they mustn't do this for. Alcohol, sex, fish, and pork. They know. It's a standard. It's well known and everything. I'm still going to talk about the issue of pork, ngulube, and moti. It's a topic on its own because I had people asking me, Goko, to eat pork. Yes, I do eat pork. I do eat pork. Goko, does pork disturbs you? Yes, it does on other things. But it's a video on its own so that we understand. On that video, I'll be unpacking these 4 things. Uguti, why are we not supposed? Why do we need to avoid these 4 things? The 4 things that we need to avoid when we are on treatment. It's alcohol, it's sexual intercourse, it's pork, it's fish. Why? It's a video on its own. We are not talking about food to avoid. We are talking about the maintenance of this body that you are living in so that the mood can work hand in hand. So that is what I mean when I say we need to use a holistic approach when it comes to using Muti. Using Muti, it's far beyond just saying, they say I must drink this 2 or 3 times a day. That's it. No. No. That's not enough. I'm telling you, you can go and sit on your treatment 120%, doing whatever I said you must do. However, there are things that can disturb you. While you still did that, it's irrelevant where you get your motive from. Even if I can say this one, I came with it from Ghana. This one, trust it, my brother. This one's from Ghana, no matter what. No, no, no. I'm going to, this is not going to be enough on one video, what I'm going to explain today. It's not going to be enough. And I know it's going to be complicated. I know people are going to stop using their treatment from wherever. Even if your pastor gave you water, you'll stop drinking that water and say, Okok is disturbing us. Now Okok is coming with another angle. No, don't be disturbed. I'm going to start with something that kickstarts everything in our system, in our body. It starts with that thing. When you are using umuti, you need to be mentally fit. When you are using umuti, you need to be mentally fit. You need to be okay psychologically. You need to be fine. Koko, what do you mean, Salwa daughter? Because I came to you because I'm stressed about the issues of my business not doing well. Koko, I came to you because of I'm stressed over my relationship is not going well. My marriage is not going well. At work, things are not fine. Coco, I am having attacks from work, whatever. Coco, that on its own stresses me. Yes, you're right. You're right. But that is one stress of that particular thing or things. That is one group of stress that you came here to solve. You came here to find a solution. So if I say to you, here's the solution, this is your solution, and this solution is going to help you with A, B, C, D, E. Right. This solution will require you. It is a solution. But for it to work, it requires you. I'll give you a typical example. A paint. You love a certain color of paint. You love a certain texture of paint, right? And this paint that you love so much, it's very expensive. Or it's whatever price, or it's very cheap. You know what? You can't believe it's so reasonable. You can't. You are so excited. You can't. And I'm giving you, I don't know why I came up with this, but as I'm talking about the example of paint, I'll tell you what happened to me regarding the paint issue. However, on this paint, there are many factors that will make this paint to look the way you expect it to look, the way you desire it to look. You probably have seen this being painted somewhere, but you don't know what happened for it to look the way it looks. I'll give you an example. Have you seen a dress being worn by a certain body shape? Any size, whether it's a plus size, it's a small size, but like nice dress or your nice t-shirt. You see this being worn by a certain body, but you are an opposite of that body, and you want to wear exactly the same cut. Let's leave the size aside. The same cut, the same design. You want to use it when for your body. Have you ever seen how much disaster you look on that point? There are many things that I like when I see when other guys are wearing it to say, oh, that looks nice. But then I look at my vaterkan, my stomach, and then I said, Coco, Coco, no, uh-uh, no, no. I've been to the point whereby someone will say, why do you dress like big stuff and everything? What? I dress for my body. I know what looks okay to me because the last thing I need is to find myself wearing the t-shirt that is so stretched, wearing a trouser that you see that even if when I sit down, I need a guidance to sit down. I need assistance to sit down. I need to ask myself a serious question. Koko Batin, are you serious? Do you want to sit down? You seriously serious you want to sit down? And I need to know exactly that where I'm going to be required to go there to sit down and not to go anywhere because it might happen when I stand up that the trouser is something else. The same goes with the paint. Let's stick to the paint example. You don't know what kind of a wall that paint or that wall was built with. Start with the plastering and the quality of that plastering and the finishing of that plastering, because the quality of plastering of this plaster and that plaster, the quality can be the same, but the finishing is different. There's a smooth finishing, there's a glossy finishing in plastering, a glossy look in plastering. I know what I'm talking about. And a rough look, rough texture look in plastering. And on to find out the quality is the same. The experience of the builder of the plaster matters. The experience of the builder of the wall, the person that there are people that deals with plastering. They are not. They don't build. They plaster. They don't build. They cover plastering. They specialize in plastering only. Then comes what? Before we get to the paint, let's go back. There's something that I forgot. The material you are using for building, it matters. It determines the end results of that wall. The bricks, material, the cement that you are using, the soil that you're using. When I take my walks on the street, I see many walls are tearing. The paint is peeling off. And you can tell that there's something wrong. They've used the wrong plastering sand. Then we get to the experience of the builder, of the plaster as well. Then after that, the quality of the paint you are going to use. And the painter. There's this guy, he passed on. Oh, may his soul rest in peace. There's a place in Mpangen, they call it Mhlatoze. I think Mazibo, if I'm not mistaken. The guy can paint. I thought I can paint because I thought painting is just take a paint, you remove a paint from the bucket or from the container, you put it on the wall. That's what I thought. That was my attitude when it comes to painting. That guy can paint. He could paint so well that you look at your wall and say, no, he charged me this much, but I'm going to give him more. Because he's a painter. He's a painter. So you see that it was not about you having money to pay for that wall. It counts for what is going to be used for that wall to look the way you want it to look. Meaning, your building project, your approach in building project was holistically. You look at many things that are involved because Even water alone. There are people that don't know ukuthi soap water. You cannot build with soap water. You're wasting time. But there are people who say, no, that's not true. Why? Simple thing. Many builders, not many, all builders, they know that. But somebody who don't know how to build, they don't know that. Muti works the same way. It's not about the affordability of the muti. It's your approach and the end results in terms of how are you going to use this muti. It matters, guys. You can't be on the treatment wanting to solve problem, whatever problem, but you're still involved in that problem. We can't, guys. We can't. I left South Africa. I'm here in Ghana for muti, to source muti for clients, for myself, right? However, you find me at the nightclub. However, I'll be with my colleague that I was with today, Frank, and asking Frank ukuthi, manje, when can I get the nice ladies? Oh, I can see you, Gani woman. Where can I get one? I'll be busy doing that. That is where it starts. That the problem starts exactly there. The purpose of you being in that country. You. Frank, this place is hot. If I can just get 6 cold beers before I go to my room, I'll be fine. Oh, don't you know a nice place I can go to? Very cool and everything. And then Frank takes me then to the high rank kind of a place. We get there, I drink. Now there's this beautiful girls around me, to see this guy from South Africa who doesn't know how to use money, who wants to have fun. Then they are with you. They make you to have fun, and you pay for that fun. And then you don't get what you are there for. Or you get what you were there for. But because what you did and what you did after you got what you went there for, you then find yourself in a situation whereby the muti you went to fetch, it's not working. Why? Because of the first and after effects that you have done for that muti not to work. You were not focused. You don't understand why you were there. I had a guy who came to fetch his group at Mpangen. And he had a nerve to tell me, Oguti, yo, Gogo, I had threesome. He told me that. I'm not making up a story. He told me that. And he's not alone. There's a lot of people that comes, they don't know why they are there. Others, they will come drunk. Others, they will come from a boyfriend. Others from the girlfriend. There was a guy who came, I did a video and I've told you, he was coming from Eastern Cape or Cape Town. He was poop drunk. He was poop drunk. And I said, I'm not going to assist you. He had candles, match, box of match, and the 200 rand for consultation. It was 200 rand then. Then he put it there. We took and used that money, I think, close to 3 or 4 months, not him coming back. Because I really thought he would come back the following day. But I think the following day he realized what I've messed up. So we need to be careful. We need to ask ourselves, guys, what is that we want to achieve? And how are we going to achieve that? Are we going to achieve that on the way that we do things? Really? Or we are going to end up blaming. House Banban gave him what is not working and everything. Still here in Ghana, I'm going to explain the issue of a scope. I know it might piss other people off, but I need to explain how does this scope works. because most of us, we run for igupu, but we don't understand the fundamentals of igupu. Then we blame igupu. And it doesn't feel good if you tell me about the scoop that doesn't work, whether you took it from me or you took it from somebody else. The bottom line, I'm going to explain the issue group. And everybody that deals with the group across the planet will agree with me on what I'm going to talk about when I talk about ego. Then if ever you can say to yourself, Goko, I hear what you are saying, and honestly, not to me, to yourself, if you can honestly say, to be honest, I did what Ukoko is saying. However, still, then you have a point. Because I'm not saying what I'm going to tell you, it's impossible for you to achieve. It is possible. Then we can say, okay, go back to that person that gave you a scope. Go and sit down and talk. Because it's not a matter of going there to that person who says, I said, guys, a scope is it's not a watch or a gadget that they say, no, now it's working. Test it. Is it work? Is it call it, let's see, it's ringing. Can you see and everything? You can bring it after 7 days if it's not working, if it gives you problem. It's not a gadget. It's spiritually made. Because I said to you, I can give you all the ingredients, the meat, and put it here. And probably you will take, if I gave you one muti this size, 450 mil, if I gave you, what size is this? Muti this size, whatever grams and everything, you're probably going to just put everything as you found it. Whilst when you mix muti, you don't just throw in. It's science. It's mathematics. You don't just add. No. No. It needs experience. It needs a calling. You need to be spiritually gifted. I see a lot of people going around athi umuntu mina incwadi yami ngavile ngayinika umfowethu njena ukuthi naye he must know imithi and everything. Your brother, your sister, your girlfriend, your what can have a book of muti that they found it. There are books, a lot of places. You can find them in Durban. I'll talk about Durban because I'm from KZN. You find them in Durban and most of the places. And I'm telling you, people that used those lists, they are not working. They are not working because this thing is spiritual. There are things that they don't need a spiritual gift that people can talk about in social media. I've seen people talking about them and they really work. But there are things that need spiritual guidance. If somebody says, go and try this prayer for this time and see what could happen, it can work. We've seen what happened with candles. It's nothing complicated. However, we are talking muti here. What are we doing wrong that makes muti not work? Where do we go wrong with our muti? You need to be fit, mentally and physically fit, focused, know your story, cut some people off, take a break from the world and focus in your muti. Don't just live your normal life. There's noise, there's what. You want to have sex now and everything. You want that, you want that, you want that. No. No, it can't be. Gogo, why do you wake up on 12 and pray and provoke and sisters? Why do you wake up at 4 and everything? What? Because it mustn't be an easy task. Let's forget about the reasons behind that, which the gods are with our ancestors, whatever, they hear you better, whatever. No, it also means it mustn't be an easy task. You need to be able to compromise for you to achieve something. How, Gogo? By waking up at that time, go sleep, wake up again. It's not an easy thing. But if you can go through that, it gives a sign of how serious you are with what you want to achieve. I'm still in Ghana. Monday I'll be in Nigeria. Hopefully I will be in Burkina Faso on Saturday. If things goes well, according to the plan tonight, definitely we will be in Burkina Faso. Again, I'll tell you to what is happening there in Burkina Faso. But I'm very much interested about my trip. Actually, excited that I'll be in Nigeria on Monday. Thokozani Mokokoro, Mkholisakala Sendoda, your journalist is out there investigating. Your investigative journalism is there out there to find out what is happening and what can assist us. And I'm going to tell you why people from Ghana are so healthy. I'm going to share that with you in the near future. Thokozani.